Stop seeking and start listening to the call of your own spirit. Hi, my name is Nancy Rebecca, and this is my YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with me, I am a registered nurse. I've been working as a full-time psychic, very curious psychic for over 20, 25 years now. So, what I'm going to be talking about today, this really came through from Spirit really strongly, and we're just right in the middle of this really ripe time to be listening to this. So what Spirit said is, please share with people that this is the time that you want to stop seeking Spirit. You want to stop seeking the answers to everything. You want to stop seeking to the next best thing that comes your way. You want to stop seeking for what your life's path and purpose is. And you want to start getting to be at that still point, that inner quiet in your inner core, and start to listen to the call of your own soul. So I'm going to be explaining a little bit about how that looks in the energy field when you're seeking and when you're listening to the call of your own spirit. So I have a little bit of a story, and in that story, I had a calling. I was called to become initiated in the Sangoma tradition. So a Sangoma is a medicine person, a diviner, a healer, or it's called a traditional doctor in South Africa. So it was in 2003, I was called to go through Sangoma training. I had met some Sangomas, traditional medicine people, because my mother had come to visit. I was living in South Africa at the time, and she said, I would really like to meet a Sangoma. And I was like, Mom, I've lived here for a year, and it is not easy to find a Sangoma because it's like, when you're ready to find a Sangoma, you will be called to find a Sangoma. You can't go seeking for them. You will never find them. You have to wait until your soul calls a medicine person to you. All right. So, needless to say, we did put the information out there, and we did feel called. We felt pulled to go in a certain direction. My mother wanted to have a bones divination session. Never had I heard of a bones divination reading before, where you throw, like nuts and shells and seeds and trinkets, and some are bones. And then how they lay is, it gives you some information about what you're doing. Not just some information, like it is crazy, accurate information that can come through. All right. So for fun, I thought, well, while we're here, I'm going to have a bones divination reading as well. Well, I wasn't expecting what ended up coming through. So they did not know me at all. But what came through was they told me that I was being called by the spirit world to be initiated in the Sangoma tradition. They told me that my spirit and all of my ancestors were excited that I had returned to South Africa, and that I must now go through the training to be a traditional medicine person. Now, by that time, I had already been doing readings for sure, doing psychic readings as a registered nurse. My interest was with the human energy field. So the last thing on my list that I ever would want to do, it was scary. I just thought it'd be so scary. And it was like, no, I don't know anything about the Zulu culture, and thank you, but no, thank you. Well, they had explained that when your spirit calls you in a certain direction, if you don't listen, your life can become very chaotic until you do. Well, I didn't listen for 8 years, and I'm not even going to tell you all the ways that my life became chaotic until finally I said yes. And the final message 8 years later was, the Sangomas wear beads. So I was wearing some beads today. They wear red and white beads, and they will offer a silver coin to the ancestors. They'll lay down a silver coin when they want the spirit world. They want to communicate. It's like, can I offer this to you in exchange for some wisdom? All right. So here I'm in the United States, and now suddenly within one day, I'm seeing beads everywhere and I'm seeing coins everywhere. So I knew that I was going to need to go back to South Africa and to be initiated in the Sangoma tradition, which I did, and maybe one day I'll make a video about that. But this is the thing. I have had people that say, I think that I would like to go for Sangoma training. I'd like to go for a shamanic training. I'd like to do this. But in that tradition, you don't just go for the training. You can't seek that training. It seeks you, which is what happened to me. So now let's kind of fast forward now where we are now during this accelerated great time of change. This is where your intuitive and psychic abilities are really, really expanding now. So even if you do not believe that you've got a psychic or intuitive bone in your body, you're going to be sadly mistaken as you start to notice that there's intuitive things that are being laid at your feet on a regular basis. So what Spirit is saying happens in the energy field, because I wanted to know, well, what does seeking look like? Well, when you hunger for information, you're seeking knowledge, your energy can move out of your auric field and it can move into the future, or it can move into maybe wanting to know a certain teacher that you're working with, that you kind of want to know if you'd like to work with them. And so you literally, your spirit will move out of your body. You will project your spirit out of your body, and it will move outside of your body. Now, your power is inside your aura. That's where your soul's power is. That's where your strength is. When you're grounded in the moment, it's like the tree, the unwavering tree that no matter how much the wind blows through, you're solid. But if you're in the past thinking about lost opportunities, or maybe you should have handled something different, if all your energy's in the past, it's not in the present, it can become very chaotic for you. If you're thinking and seeking in the future, then you can feel very, you can have anxiety, you can have panic attacks, you can have trouble sleeping. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen because you're not in your body and you're not in the present moment. Now, when I went through Sangoma training, I was seeking to find out what does this mean, and what are you going to do, and what am I going to have to do as a white woman answering the call in an African culture. You know, I just wasn't sure what was going to happen. It was totally out of my body. But I will tell you, once the drumming and the dancing started, and every time I'd start to lift up out of my body, they'd start those drums again so that I would get back into my body. And so when Spirit is saying, stop seeking and start listening, what your spirit is trying to tell you is you've got everything you need right here. Everything. You may not be Nancy, or you may not be Archangel Michael, or you may not be Jesus, or you may not be Mother Mary, or you may not be like all these other spiritual teachers that maybe you watch on YouTube videos, but you are you. You are you. You are uniquely you. And you have all the knowledge and wisdom inside of you to make all of your own best decisions. And if you don't feel like you've got all the knowledge and wisdom inside of you, we have entered this, I call it off the Richter scale moment that's happening in the next few months, where there's just a download of another high level of wisdom and knowledge that's coming through, where your any dormant DNA that you've had is awakening. And so suddenly you're going to hear yourself talking and you're like, wow, who said that? Where'd that come from? Like, I never would have said something like that in my whole life. So you're going to start to notice that your spirit's taking charge and your spirit's saying, listen to me, listen to me. Your answers aren't out there. Your answers are in here. Listen to me. Let me call you to yourself. Let me call you back to yourself. Call yourself back to yourself. It's like, ooh, nope. I'm listening too much over here. I'm listening too much over here. Let me call myself back to myself. Let me get quiet. Let me listen. My spirit's always telling me, and the spirit guide's always telling me, Nancy, if you can just get your listeners to close their eyes, then their spirit will take over teaching them. And I remember that first 5 minutes that I closed my eyes and I thought, all right, that feels a little weird. And I stopped. But I had an experience after just 5 minutes, but I had a hard time sticking to that 5 minutes. So be okay with that. You closed your eyes and you allowed your own spirit, your own soul to teach you for just a few minutes. Spirit is always reminding me that every human on this earth is already awakened. You just may not be conscious enough yet to what is awakened to you. What knowledge do you hold inside? But we are growing in consciousness. We are growing in awareness. We are going forward with our eyes wide open. And for people who don't seem to be, I promise you, they're noticing something. Every time I've done readings, I've just done loads of readings, tens of thousands of readings. And you can have the most skeptical person come in the room, and then I'll say, wow, you have some pretty incredible prophetic dreams, don't you? And they're like, how did you know that? And they'll say, well, they're just dreams. And then I say, well, they're not just dreams. And so that can be the single most valuable experience that you can have for yourself. So how do you stop seeking and how do you start listening? Well, if you feel pulled to seek more information, like a self-help book and things like that, know that your spirit is probably guiding you in that direction. So your spirit is calling you to pick up that book. Your spirit's calling you to take that class. But you can feel the difference. If your mind is having you seek as a distraction, it's going to feel hollow. It's going to feel shallow. If your friend's going to take a class, come on, let's all of us girlfriends take this class together. You want to tune in and say, am I doing this because I want to be with my girlfriends or my guy friends, or am I doing this because I know I'm supposed to be there and I know there's something for me there? So this is going to take a little flip of the switch. Am I seeking or am I hearing the call of my own soul? Because this is the direction we're going. We've gotten in a lot of trouble by asking everybody else's opinion that just did not and does not fit with your life. So stop seeking. Start listening to the call of your own soul, because it's just going to get better and better and better, and it is going to get easier. And for those of you who write me and say, I never feel, hear, sense, know, see anything ever, ever, ever. Does this mean I'm not awake? Does this mean I'm not conscious? Does this mean I'm never going to get it? And it's like, nope, not at all. Because there's a quality to you as a particular person where you just happen to step into the right place at the right time, at the right moment for you, that you're spiritually guided. And just remember, even if you go through the motion of closing your eyes, your spirit starts shifting your energy field rapidly, even if you don't feel it, hear it, see it, or know it. You're still just as awesome, and you're still going to be at the train station when the movement of life picks us all up. All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening in to the call of your own soul, and I look forward to seeing you on the next teaching. So don't forget, click the subscribe button, hit the bell so you are notified the next time I do another video. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.